Hello and welcome to the quick take. Let's get this over with. Fulham lost 2-1. It was a late turnaround. It wasn't very fun. Hello, Liz.
Hi, Sammy. How are you doing?
All right, not great. We're here at Craft Beer Co. I'd love to hear a bit more about your pint, actually. Maybe we could just do that for the next 10 minutes. What's it called?
Well, usually I go for the lovely cherry Redfin cider.
Yeah.
But today I thought I'd mix it up and I've gone for a cookies and cream Ben and Terry's stout. And it's delicious. Big notes of coffee. And I can really taste the cookies. And it is really, really nice.
Sounds delicious. I've gone for a third time's a charm. Maybe that'll ring true next season when we play the reverse fixture. I mean, I've got to say, Liz, that the vibes were very bad at the end there. It was a horrible way to lose a football match.
Yeah, the vibes. I mean, despite the delicious pint, and thank you once again to the Craft Beer Company, Craft Beer Co. It was really bleak today. And the manner of losing that game and the way that we lost it is just very difficult.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. A lot of the social media accounts, I no doubt, are going to point to the almost exact reverse of Boxing Day in the way that took the lead halfway through the first half, and then the timings of the two second half goals were pretty similar. I mean, and again, I like to go through these things chronologically, but I feel like we have to talk about that second half because, look, as much as you might write this match report and say it was a smash and grab, but we were horrific in that second half. Like, we deserved to lose. The subs weren't great, and we'll come on to those, but just generally, we stank that second half.
I can't think of anything that we actually created in the second half. And when you're playing in this league, it's a cliche, but that is a problem. Yeah. We were awful, and it felt like it was coming from 45. And I know this season we've had these difficult periods between 45 and 60. And when it was still 1-0 after that time, I thought maybe we'd be able to turn it around. But we were just awful in that second half, and it was really, really deflating.
Yeah. Obviously, as well, then to go and lose it on 90+3. I mean, it all started pretty well.
Yeah, it did.
I thought we looked good for the majority of the first half. We looked very up for it. We came out the blocks. Obviously got that goal through Alex Iwobi. Just moments after he'd spooned one into the crowd, I think everyone has started to lose their patience with Alex Iwobi, and then he came good. I mean, let's talk about Ryan Sessegnon because it was him that made that goal. Robs Reece James brilliantly, then found Iwobi in space. As much as Iwobi would take the plaudits for that goal, I think Ryan Sessegnon deserves a lot of the praise.
100%, and obviously we also had the offside goal, and where Sessegnon was offside, and it was offside. I see the advantage, we got through that, but I just thought that he was making himself such a nuisance in that first half, and he really made it happen, like the tackle and then the assist for Iwobi. And very amusingly, the guy behind me, 10 seconds before Iwobi scored, he was like, I don't get what Iwobi offers. I don't understand. He's terrible. And then obviously he went and scored, and it was a lovely goal. And at that moment, I thought maybe we're about to do the double over them. We're not. We're not. It turns out.
Yeah, I think we were all very giddy in the build-up, and with reason to be, right? Obviously, there was the result last year. There was their poor form. And we knew that the results went our way again this weekend. Brighton lost, Bournemouth drew. It was all set up for us.
And every single fan we spoke to, we both work with a fan, and you did the preview with Dan from London is Blue. They were all really kind of down on Chelsea's performances. And that made it just feel like we would be able to get something. But obviously, as soon as you get your hopes up with Fulham, that's a mistake.
Yeah. What was it then in the second half? Obviously, there was an element of they made a couple of substitutions. Sancho, I thought, looked good, and Gusto seemed to give them a little bit of solidity at right back. But from a Fulham perspective, just the creativity just seemed to drain away. I felt like Raul wasn't influencing the play anywhere as much, and in the centre of the park, we couldn't string 2-3 passes together, could we? I felt like we were making quite a lot of stupid decisions as well, just trying things that weren't really on. We just needed to get some composure, hold the ball for a couple of minutes, and that just never happened at any point.
That was a game that was like crying out for Rodrigo Muniz at 65, I felt. We were winning at that point, but I just felt there was a little bit of chaos, and he wasn't in the squad today, I believe, injured, and it really showed. And for all our good work, breaking up play and stuff, like I thought Andreas again was absolutely fabulous today, and just so many good moves, so many good runs, so much good work. It made me feel so delighted that he's our player. But for all of that, we just weren't able to make anything happen in the attacking third. And when the subs came, I'm just not sure like quite what Marco was thinking at points. Like the Kearney sub was the one for me where it did not make sense. And you said you thought we should have gone to a back five.
Yeah, this is it for me. I thought that the game was absolutely crying out for a back five, and it's worked, particularly in this fixture on Boxing Day. The back five worked. I don't love the five. I don't love when we start with the five, but I thought it made total sense in this game. You could have brought on Castagna, moved Tete to kind of right centre back. There was so many different variations in which you could have done that. If we were going for the grind out the 1-0, that was the tactic for me. But coming on to Kearney as well, yeah, I don't think it's working. And for me, what the one thing is, like, okay, Sasha maybe had a knock. He did look like he maybe needed to come off. Fair enough. Like, you can't expect Sander and Sasha always to do 90 minutes. What's Harrison Reed really done wrong? I know he gave away the penalty against Brighton, which was a bit unfortunate. But you're holding on to a lead. We haven't got any of the ball. Kearney isn't that kind of... If you're going to put Tom Kearney on, you need us to have a lot of possession, and we didn't have any possession. And that, for me, is where Harrison Reed could come bombing in. He could have run around the park, and he could have helped us. I just didn't understand that sub.
I don't want to dig out Harrison Reed on the quick take, because I love him so much. He was the player I got on the back of my shirt last season, one of my all-time favourite Fulham players. But, Sammy, I'll flip it back. Do you ever think he's come on or played this season and done well?
I don't think he's been given a huge amount of opportunities to do that.
I get you, but when he has come on, he has played poorly. I think, but I
just think it's the lesser of two evils. I'm not saying he's absolutely the solution. I just didn't think it was for Kearney. And look, you could see it. Like Kearney was he barely touched the ball. He was just getting overrun. It just wasn't the game for him.
I do agree that it wasn't the game for him, but I also think, considering, I just hate to say this, but like considering Reed's performances this season, I'm not sure that he was the man to come off the bench.
Yeah. I mean, I guess also there's loads of ways you could have done it right. You could have put a Wobie in the 8. Yeah. You could have brought on Adama earlier. There was lots of different ways. I mean, I've seen some people wondering why Cess came off as well. I didn't hate that so much, especially when Harry Wilson's on the bench and ready to come on.
But I would have liked to have seen a bit of a shuffle. I would have maybe liked to have seen, big brain thinking here, Lukic off, Andrea slipping back to play alongside Berger, and then Wilson playing in the 10. That's what I would have liked. But obviously, you know, I don't hold the keys to the castle. And that would have meant that Sessa stayed on the pitch. And not that I think, not like, obviously I'm biased to some extent when it comes to Ryan Sessegnon because he's my favourite player. But I just don't think, I think he had more to offer this game. And I don't think it was a game for Kearney, but, you know, it's what it is.
Have we got any comments about the 2 goals? I mean...
No. No, I actually do, because I think it's a real lesson for all of us who sang who the in Hello You. It's just obviously bleeping it out so Sammy doesn't have to put an explicit mark on the video.
I think it would have been
when Tyreek George came on. Let's not do that again. I mean, let's do it again. I will be doing it again, but it was just a moment where I thought, I wish I hadn't done that. I wish I hadn't do that.
Yeah, I must admit, when Hammersmith then sung that, part of me did go, I have a funny feeling he might score here. But anyway.
It's just rubbish, isn't it? Anyway, that's all I have to say.
I mean, I can't even really remember the winner. Obviously, my head spun and it was gone. It looked like a good finish. I don't think Leno can do anything about either goals.
I thought Leno was so solid today. It's such a shame that the scoreline was what it was because he did so much good work. But, I mean, again, I don't want to talk about either of the goals, so...
In terms of, you know, it feels churlish after a result like this to be even mentioning the E word. Look, obviously not much damage in terms of the entire weekend, considering Bournemouth only got a point away at Palace, and Brighton obviously lost at Brentford, who equally maybe that might see themselves in the conversation now as a bit of a long shot. Look, it's not, again, a bit like the Bournemouth game. It's probably fine. It isn't the end of the world because, I mean, it just seems to be the European, the spot that nobody wants, which is good from our perspective that we're getting away with bad form, but there's only so long we can get away with it.
I think we need to remember something that you said to me very wisely in February, which was to finish ninth is to not finish with a 100% record, and you can lose 2 games in a row, 3 games in a row, and finish ninth, finish 8th, whatever it is, and I am just holding on to that. I'm really sad. For lots of reasons, obviously, really wanted to win today. But it's not over. It's not over until it sings. And then it will be over. But
well, it's a big game against Southampton now next week, right?
Yeah.
And obviously that's... I actually don't think that's going to be all that easy, but we have to bounce back.
It's just so frustrating that West Ham let them get the points, equal the points total, and now I just feel that Southampton are gonna go on and do something against us. But equally, I do.
If we don't beat them, though, to be honest, if we do not beat Southampton, then Fulham don't deserve to be in the top 10, let alone to be thinking about going to Europe next year.
Especially considering we didn't manage to beat them in December, to not once beat the Southampton side. You know what it is? It's like we were having this chat on the way back, and I feel like I've already had my money's worth in terms of moments this season.
Yeah.
In the Brentford win, the Chelsea win, the Manchester United penalties. For me, Wolves away was great. All those kind of things, really, really magic. I feel like I've already experienced all of that, and that sits in my heart a lot. It would be frustrating to not qualify for Europe after the season we've had in lots of ways, but equally, it's already been special for me. So onwards and upwards, I'm hopeful, I hope, but it won't be cataclysmic, in my opinion, if it's not to be.
All right, we'll leave it there. I don't know. Let us know what beer you would have at craft beer. Don't let us know your thoughts on the game. We don't care.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
It is really nice.
We're done. You're done. I'd be amazed if any Fulham fans are actually watching this. So thank you for watching if you got this far, and thank you, Liz.
Thank you so much for having me.
You whites.
You whites.